Well, good afternoon. I should put this down a bit. Welcome to our webinar, which is about linking sales performance to expectations of this financial year. So my name is Colin Wilson and this is Alison Fletcher, and we're here to go through today our webinar. So thanks for joining us. Just want to make sure that you can hear us okay before I start the webinar. So if you can, could you just put in the chat box? I've opened up the chat box so people can have a look to make sure that if you could just put a note in the chat box to say, yes, I can hear you loud and clear, that would be absolutely fantastic. So, yes, you can. I can hear. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So let's get into it. So sales, in many ways, can be a bit of a dirty word to people, but sales is the blood of every business. No sales, no business. That's how it actually works. So today's webinar, what we're going to go through is our session is going to be, how to drive better sales performance through leadership, which I think is really, really important. Making sure that we're, really getting the team on board and making sure it's all happening for your business. How to set expectations linked to sales performance of individuals. So, how do we hold them accountable in a positive way? And then, how to manage expectations through performance management, which is pretty much what Alison's going to go through in this webinar, and we'll just leave it open to some Q&As at the end of the webinar. So get ready for the journey. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Colin Wilson. I'm the owner of Key Business Advisors. Absolutely love what I do. We're all about strategy, getting the culture right, making sure that we have a HR best practice in the business, and we're all about that leadership and training. So 16 years in the business and loving every minute of it. So Alison.
Also 16 years, but not in the business, but 16 years experience in HR. Also love my job very much.
Yep.
Wealth of knowledge across multiple industries, and very much looking forward to today's webinar. So.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I think what's really important, anyone does any work with me, they'll know the importance of making sure that we've got our mission and vision and our purpose right. But, our mission is taking business good to great. So in a phone call I had this morning, someone said to me, Colin, one of the things I love about you is you don't sugarcoat anything, you just tell it how it is. And I think that's how we take business from good to great. Our purpose is to take our customers on a journey to help them improve their business through all aspects of employee engagement and performance. And what's really interesting, if we get the employee engagement right, where everyone is on the same page going in the same direction, the performance actually just automatically happens. And that's the beautiful thing. And we've seen that time and time again with our clients. There's 4 pillars to our business. Business strategy and growth. So we're all about making sure you got the strategy right, which is, a bit of a growth, we're on a growth journey of what we want to do. You've got to have the team right, because if the team is not right, well, that makes it very, very difficult. And it's not just the sales team, it's the whole team of a company. And making sure you got what I call that HR advice support, that best practice HR in how we manage people and how to have those conversations. And I think what's really important is ensuring that we're a good business in getting that leadership right. And I do a lot of sales training, which I find a lot of fun, to be honest, because sales is about having fun, and you're certainly going to learn that. All right, so let's get into our very first topic. And our very first topic is around, how to drive better sales performance through leadership. Now, one of the things I'm going to start off with is the wheel, what I call the wheel. So when we talk about the wheel, in a business, doesn't matter what sort of business you are, every business has got to have sales in it, if I can say that. And, as I said before, sales is that dirty word, but I always say that, can you tell me of a company or a business that can survive without a customer? And the bottom line is they can't, doesn't exist. So I think, the secret for number one is if you've got a sales-based business and you want to go out there and make it happen, the number one thing you need to have, which is right at the very top there, is passionate people who are sales and customer service driven. So, they've got to love what they do. And that's the rule number one. We go into companies and we can see salespeople there, they're not passionate, they don't really want to be there, or, that makes it very difficult for them to ever achieve a target. I think what's really important also is making sure that the products and services that they sell, that they believe in. So you've got to believe in what you do. And if you don't believe in it, it makes it very difficult.
100%.
Your products and services, they've got to see that it adds value to your customers. So, that's a real, and I'm massive around marketing. Sales and marketing go hand in hand. But again, like, you've got to see that it adds value. And if it doesn't add value to your clients, then, that makes it very, very difficult to sell. And I'll say salespeople will not sell a product or service that they don't believe in, right? So you might have you might have great products, and you might be good at the front end of sales, but you're terrible at the back end, you can't deliver on time or do things on time, then that's going to, detract the salesperson. So it's so important that we get all those moving parts of the business working together. And that's why I like strategy, because strategy is about making sure that actually happens. I think what's also important is the material, sales material that they've got. I call it tools of trade. Do they have, brochures, presentations, proposals, quotes, documentation, sales orders, whatever it may be, all that stuff that marketing produces, I think is really, really important. And then we have our marketing strategy. So, a good website, social media, and that's all part of what, makes a great business. And marketing is about how much mud you throw at the wall. That's what I say when I talk to people. And again, that's all relevant back to what our marketing strategy is of the business. And a big thing for us, I think, one of the things that we've been focusing on, and Emma in our business does a brilliant job at that, is really focusing on the humanisation of showcasing what we actually do, because I actually think that sells more than product or service. Well, we're convinced of that.
Yeah,
I think it's important. And I think, good salespeople, they've got to be very good presenters. They've got to have the sales skills that go along with it. So that means we've got to train them. We've got to train them to present, to facilitate, and they've got to be, that good all-round type of person. And I'll say, I think they've got to be a little bit extroverted as well. And then, that last one is we've got to deliver and meet customer expectations. So if we don't meet and deliver to those customers' expectation, then what will actually happen is we'll deflate the salesperson, because, in their mind, it's their reputation that's out there that, hey, I'm making all these promises and we can't deliver to the expectation. I will say, though, too, salespeople can also push it a little bit too much, where they overpromise, where that puts the business under huge pressure. So again, that's the leadership that needs to come through. So I hope I'm making a bit of sense, and feel free to throw anything into the chat as we go, or if you've got any questions, you feel free to ask some questions. This webinar is being recorded. Pardon me. It's been recorded and it'll be available in 24 hours and up on our website. But one of the things that we always say is nothing beats salespeople who are passionate about sales, the company they represent, and the products and services they believe in. That's the magic formula. So if anyone says to me, hey, Colin, we need to improve our sales the whole lot, well, the first thing I look at is, the brand, the products and services you deliver, and, are the team passionate about it? Because that's the holy grail of actually making sales, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I just want to go through. So when I go in, I thought I'll share a little bit of the sales strategy stuff that I do in this webinar when we go out to a company. So when you think about the ultimate sales professional, so again, this is around mindset. But to me, this is the type of person they should be in a business. Number one, self-confident, with a positive can-do attitude and motivated to be successful in sales. So, when I got into sales, a long time ago, Al, I wanted to be in sales, right? Because I wanted to, live the lifestyle of a salesperson, earn commission, earn bonuses, and, play golf, all the good things that come along with sales when you get into it. They've got to be highly driven, great communicator, excellent networker and referrer. So they've got to be this person that's, well connected to their clientele. And then they've got to go and find people to network themselves into opportunities. A good salesperson, to me, the ultimate sales professional, is a great listener, builds rapport, and emphasizes with the customer, make sure that they're actually trying to help the customer. We need to be persuasive, know how to read the customer, and it demonstrates initiative and take control. So what I mean by persuasive, I'm not going to twist somebody's arm up their back. But persuasive is about, what I think is right based on what you told me. This is what I believe you should actually have. Because sometimes people don't know what they want. Relates brilliant product and industry knowledge, what I call industry insights, and to the customer's needs. And then their focus and plan that demonstrate that effective time management. So, I always say, show me a busy salesperson, I'll show you a happy salesperson. That's how it works. And if you think about, this person, they're highly energetic, competitive, ambitious to get the job done. They understand every step of the sales process, including objection handling and closing the sale. And, we're all about, 7 steps to retail, 9 steps to prospecting, 12 steps to B2B, 11 steps to B2C. Like, there's a process in what you actually need to do. They're sales driven. So, salespeople, if I can say the professionals, they know how to exceed targets and break all records because they just work it out. They work hard to make that make it happen. And as I said before, in that time, they've got to be great, a great presenter and follows the process of using the professional sales toolkit to win the customer every time. So that's that show and tell. As a saying in sales, customers only know what you show and tell them. So it's again about asking those right questions and delivering back to them. And then they've got to be approachable, presentable, and a collaborative team player. So again, when we talk about teamwork, great sales companies, the guys bounce ideas off one another, they help and support one another. We have consultants in this business, the HR consultants, and they, as you know, Al, they're forever bouncing ideas off each other on how to help a client or what to do and recommend. That's all part of the process. And the big one for me, provides outstanding customer service and creates advocates. Now, an advocate in the sales terminology is that's somebody who wants to see you win, somebody who wants you to recommend. So they're very good at referring you out to other people. So what I've got now is I've talked about the salesperson, the mindset of where we want the salesperson to be. So now let's talk about the leader, the sales manager, the leader. So the leader needs to be what I call resourceful. And resourceful. So if I said to you, Alison, resourceful, what does that mean to you as a sales manager or a leader?
Well, make sure you've got a really good understanding of what it is that you're doing and use the team. Using the team and use the team to the best of their abilities as well. So our team is, everyone's got their own strengths. So I would make sure I use the strengths of the individual team member as well. Yeah,
and being resourceful is being, you're there for them, you're helpful, helping as well. Yeah. They've got to be empowering, so they've got to motivate. They've got to be great to motivate the team. And again, I'm off to a client tomorrow, and the guy said to me, "Geez, Cole, last time you were here, you motivated the crap out of me." Well, that's what a good sales manager or a good leader, in my opinion, does. They're an effective communicator. So that communication of being, and I'll say it like, it's written down a bit later, but you got to be a bit hardcore in the sales game. You got to hold the team accountable. You got to be an effective communicator, and really support that. That be driven by performance outcomes. And to me, I always say, show me a busy salesperson, I'll show you a happy salesperson. So a good sales manager leader gets their team busy, and that means they're on the phones, they're out seeing clients, they're presenting, they're demonstrating, they're active all the time. This person leads by example, and they provide that strategic direction to achieve sales targets. So they're very good at doing things like, have you thought about this? It could be the cross-sell or the upsell, or maybe you start at the top and work your way down, rather than start at the bottom and work your way up. And I did an exercise with a company that sells office furniture. We talk about chairs. Well, I always say, go to the most expensive chair, right? It's easy to, downsell it as it is to upsell. So again, that's part of strategy. And I think, targets is a big part of your strategy as well. So a good sales manager, and, when I got into sales, my coach at the time, my sales manager leader said, when the guys are earning bonuses, Colin, then you've done your job, right? So it's your job as a leader manager to make sure that that team is actually firing on all cylinders. They've got to become a really good coach, manager, and mentor. And to me, the person I coach is, I'm coaching you on what you need to do to improve. And manager, you can't manage what you measure. So let's look at, number of appointments, number of calls you've made, all the things that go hand in hand with sales. And then that pipeline, I think, is really, really important. And then the mentor is, you're sitting back watching them, in action. And, of recent, I said to a sales manager, the hardest part is watching a salesperson fail, right? We never want to see that out there. But, the way I was trained and the way I train it is, you can sit down and ask that person, what could have you done better? How could you have improved that conversation with the client, and get them to use, their, what I call emotional intelligence, their brain to actually, create that continuous improvement. I think, again, a good manager leader, they value everyone's contribution. And I want to put it in, it's not just the sales team, it's also the marketing team, it's also, the admin team, it's the whole company. Yeah. So You know, we know that there's a lot of egotistical salespeople out there that it's all about them. But, you know, to me, what builds sales is a team. And I'm very massive on making sure that it's a team effort, not an individual effort. You might have some rising stars, but I think, you know, what they've got to understand is sometimes you don't have a big month every month, right? It doesn't work that way.
No.
But as long as the company achieves its targets and has that consistency, that big word that I like to use, consistency, I think that's what it's all about. And I'm massive on celebrating the wins through rewards, recognition of individual and team outcomes. And we have a thing called a gong. You know, we hit a gong. It's actually on the desk behind us, but we hit a gong. And, you know, when we celebrate a win, and that's not a financial win, that's also an outcome for a client, or you know, a big learning
Yeah.
or something like that, something where we've done, you know, where we've taken a client from good to great in many ways. That's how we do it. So again, I'm hoping that that this is making some really good sense. Now, a good sales manager, leader, has also got to be very good at communication. And we saw that through COVID, didn't we, Al?
100%.
Yeah. So do you want to elaborate that? What did we see during COVID based on communication?
It was funny because out of all of our clients, the ones who succeeded the most were the ones who had the most open communication. I guess that was foreign to a lot of businesses because historically a lot of businesses keep a lot of their situation about the business to themselves, but COVID brought out a need. It was a need where they had to be more open with the employees so that they had an understanding of what was going on. And it actually helped to settle the team down as well. So we found where the businesses didn't communicate so openly, they were really struggling, and some of those even closed as a result of. So
yeah, that communication, it's a communication. I just can't. And I, you know, and my strategy when we train all of our clients is about, you know, with sales, you have, you know, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly conversations about sales. But I'm really massive on, you know, every quarter of telling how the staff, how the business is performing, where we're doing well, and just sharing that information and doing it in a way that, you know, the team are empowered, where they sit back and have a look at, you know, wow, we're actually going somewhere. And I believe I achieved that last week with 2 leaders in a business, where they got up and talked about this is the strategy, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want to make it.
And you don't have to go into the you know, details, but it's just being a little bit more open as well.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. So I think, you know, good communication, well, it will enhance motivation. Now, motivation is an interesting thing, but, you know, like, again, that's self-motivation. So when a salesperson comes into work, they should be self-motivated to do the hard things, get on the phones, make the calls, you know, do the things that they need to do that generate sales, because sales is all about activity. I think a good communication also generates belief, right? So again, you know, I'll talk about surfing the wave. So, you know, getting up there is one thing, but staying up there with that consistency is another. I think it's really, really important. And, you know, good communication really creates that team alignment and engagement. So I always say no one's better than anyone else. Everyone's got something to contribute within this business. And then, you know, that works proactively with their sales team. They got high self-esteem, positive energy, and creates that high performance winning sales culture. So what does winning look like? So, and again, part of leadership is about teaching your team how to win business, how to win sales. And, you know, that's, you know, we go into companies and we can see a team that is got half the skill of you know, same business, got half the skill of another business, but high motivation, high belief. They're outperforming 2 to 3 times as somebody that's got all the skills and knowledge with bad culture and no motivation. So it's just so important that we've got that happening. You know, and again, you know, I use this word command sales activity that produces more revenue. So, you know, that's the getting on the phones, getting those appointments going. And anyone's done sales training with me, it's around being proactive, not reactive. So we're working 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Like I finish on a Friday, I've already got 9 appointments preset for the next week, right? I don't start on Monday with nothing in my diary. And again, that's very easy. When I go into companies and we look at the pipeline and we look at the activity, you can see that you know, they're working in a reactive way rather than a proactive way. So I think, again, that goes back to, you know, setting those expectations, which is what this topic is all about. And then focusing on, you know, the pipeline for higher profits. So pipeline is everything. So, you know, we've identified a client, they're in the market, you know, where they're qualified, so qualified prospect, and then, you know, we've got a pipeline. So we've done our proposal and it's about follow-up. Now, we know we don't win all of it. You know, we don't win every proposal or quote that you send out there, because if you did, we wouldn't even worry about sales training, right? So, but again, it's about making sure that you stay, and I'm really big on quick to respond. So when a lead comes in or an opportunity comes in, we're quick to respond, and I think we're very good at that in this business. And I think the big thing about communication, it creates a team culture that everyone wants to be part of. You know, and our saying is, when we ask people, you know, what do you love about working for this company? You know, when we hear, I love my job, you can see that passion in that person, which is what we started off with. And we just know that that business is going to be successful. I just want to put it out there too, like with salespeople, sometimes people try sales because they haven't achieved, you know, a degree or anything like that. You don't try sales, you get into it and you just make it happen. That's you know, that's just my character and the way it needs to be. So I think as a business, you know, being sales focused, I think is really, really important. So, and again, good leadership from a sales manager, good belief and passion within a salesperson, this all links. So when you think about it, you know, having that, you know, sales strategy that's linked to a marketing strategy. So we market, and, you know, we go into companies and, you know, the sales guys, you know, the marketing and the sales team are like two, you know, drifting apart, but they should be working together. You know, there's things that they can do, and I'll share some of that with you in this webinar as well. But I think it's really important that sales and marketing work hand in hand. And, you know, one of the things that we love in our business, and we're not really a sales-based business, you know, we're a consultancy business, but we do need to make sales. But, you know, when Emma goes through every Monday morning, like she did this morning, project she's working on, what the initiative she's doing, that motivates the team, right? It really does. And then when we get, you know, an inquiry come through, we want to work out where does that come from. Again, that motivates her as a person, and it motivates our, as I said, the team. Every business has this thing called a CRM, Client Records Management System. And one of the hardest things that most companies struggle with is having the salesperson put the right data into the CRM. So this now comes part of the process of what, you know, you command as part of, you know, holding the team accountable. Because again, if someone leaves the business and it's all in their head, well, they're taking the IP with it. So it's massively, you know, and that, to me, that's part of business process that gets rolled out in a PD. And having that sales brochure material, the material, the brochures, the email templates, presentation material, whatever it be, you know, we're sales focused. And for me, that's continuous improvement. So we don't just do something and leave it. We're always trying to improve that. As I said, the tools of trade, the sales order forms, the sales agreements. And again, we continually train and develop, you know, current products and new products and services. So, you know, you can do that internally. You can get other people, suppliers to come in and help you do the training. But again, you know, it's really important that the salesperson is present and they're learning about what, you know, they're trying to sell. Again, what I said, salespeople are not going to sell a product they don't believe in, like, or understand. So, so we've got to make sure that they do that. And then we've got to focus on that sales activity. So again, you know, if I'm going back in time, Mad Mondays, so we're all on the phones ringing our clients on a Monday. You know, we're out, you know, doing the, you know, cold calling is a thing of the past in my mind. I don't believe in cold calling, but what I do believe in is sandwich calls. So if I'm going out and seeing somebody, let's go and pop in 2 or 3 doors either side and across the road and drop off some information to let them know that, you know, we're doing some work with this particular client. I think recognition and praise is really, really good. So, you know, you know, getting that first order, getting that, you know, those milestone moments, all that's part of motivation. And it's part of belief too. So if we've got a new product and then who's the first person to sell it, all that competition stuff is all generated by being sales focused and having some form of, you know, drive that's led by the leader. And then I think, you know, you've got to command those sales performance outcomes, you know, the performance management. And this is my best friend over here, Alison, because, you know, with clients we work with, if the salespeople are underperforming, then it's normally her or one of the HR team that are talking to them about why are you not making the calls? Why aren't you going out and seeing people? Why are you not doing, you know, the quotes or the proposals? And most of it I can say is just about motivation, right? So they've lost the love or lost the focus of what they need to do. So again, you know, when we're being sales focused, we know we hold the team accountable. And what I mean by that is it's not just holding you know, the manager holding the team accountable. It's others holding each other accountable as well. Because if we've got a team target and a team target of what we're trying to reach, you know, it is about, hey, you know, how you going with that proposal and what's going on here and what's going on there. And we certainly, what's the word, a good engine room. And I believe we practice what we preach. But if someone's struggling and trying to get somebody over the line, then they're discussing it with, you know, each other,
Yep.
or they're coming forward, and I call it managing up. They're coming up and going, hey, Colin, what would you do in this situation? Or, hey, Alison, what would you do in this situation? Because at the end of the day, we're just one team that's trying to get, you know, achieve the revenue of the company. So if you've got any questions based on what I've just gone through, feel free to add some questions in. And don't be shy, because I'm pretty out there type of person. But, you know, we always talk about, you know, when we do performance appraisals around training and development. So, you know, Al, you know, you go through this slide for me, please.
Yeah, sure. So with regards to training and developing staff, there's a variance between staff outcomes and business outcomes. So staff can have that self-satisfaction when they've been taught what to do. They have an understanding of what it is that they're doing. They actually feel valued and empowered to do their role to the best of their ability as well. And we've seen this over and over again, where they have a purpose. They go in, they have a purpose, they know what to do, and that then leads to being productive as well, higher job satisfaction, and being rewarded. On the other side of the coin, the business outcomes, which are similar but obviously different. You've got skillful and talented employees, productivity levels have increased, a lower waste of time, and also, and we haven't got it in here, but a lower absentee issue as well. Fewer mistakes and rework, which is fabulous, because that's good for the financial bottom line, better customer outcomes, and the higher profitability, again, with lower wasted time and higher productivity and less absenteeism. So it all goes back down to the finances for those things as well. So
that's right. And again, like when I go into companies, there's that training and development, you know, learn the product, learn it inside out, make them, you know, I always say you got to make the product sing and dance in front of the customer, right? So because, you know, if you truly believe that this is the right product or service that you're recommending, and it's going to benefit the client. So, you know, I just want to put it out there, you know, the days of the sell to me, I think is changed. Customers are more educated. And, you know, I'm always talking about, you know, how you as a professional salesperson should go in and educate the customer on how you can improve their business, or improve a production line, or improve a process that's going to benefit the client. And I think, you know, the big thing I just want to finish off on this topic about, you know, that, you know, accountability is this word trust. So trust is everything for me in a business. So again, you know, salespeople are out and about, you know, am I trusting that they're working? So again, you know, you can tell the performance, you can tell it by the activity, you know, the calls, you know, and I'll come back to a couple of things before I finish this slide off, but the value of having trust, you know, sales staff are committed and engagement is high when there's huge trust, and the sales manager leader, you know, back their team members, you know, who are driven by others. I think it's really, really important, and it's a good feeling. And everyone is on the same page for greater sales outcomes for the business. So again, I talk about team meetings and sales meetings and why they're so important, and why we got to go through, you know, the KPIs of the activity, because that's what produces the sales results. You know, how many leads have we got come in? It's a conversation we have every week. How many leads have come into our business? And then we talk about, you know, what are quality, what's not quality, what are the conversions? All of those things just make it happen. And then I think, you know, staff will take ownership and go above and beyond to produce better sales results for the actual business. I think that's it's just so important. So again, you as the sales manager or the sales leader, your team are doing it for you. You shouldn't have to manage that hard, in my opinion, right? So and we talk about the engine room, get the engine room going, Al, and it just takes care of itself. You know, that care factor and responsibility continue to grow with fewer mistakes, and you just achieve amazing results. So I think it's so important that, you know, that we're making sure that, you know, we are achieving amazing results. So, you know, I'm working with a company at the moment, and, you know, I've questioned the targets. Are they too high? Because if the staff think it's, you know, was not within reach, then that also can be a bit of a negativity as well. And if there's high turnover in a business of sales staff, again, that can also be seen to be a bit of a negativity. So again, trust is everything, and I just can't You can tell if a salesperson's going to perform well or not, and just the simple things like most companies give them a mobile phone. One of the things when I go in a company and they go, we don't think this guy's performing, I go, let's have a look at your top performer. How many calls is on his Telstra bill? Okay, there's over 500 calls for the month. Let's have a look at the guy who's not performing. How many calls? There's 40 calls. Well, okay, we know that there's actually a problem. They're supposed to be out and about, and your car is your office. You're always making those calls. So I think it's important. Pipeline will tell you the story. Number of quotes will tell you the story, whether you've got a committed salesperson or not. Okay, so that completes our first topic around, that accountability. And now I want to talk about, setting those expectations that's linked to sales performance. So again, this is, for me, it's setting those expectations around, those KPIs. And Al, you do all the position descriptions with the team, but, I'll get you to go through this slide. Yeah.
So with regards to position descriptions or job descriptions, as some people call them, we highly recommend having really clear KPIs in those positions, because they are measurable outcomes. And then you can break them down into certain categories. So you can have financial results. And we even put financial results for non-sales staff, because if they're doing productive work and there's little rework, then that will actually help positively impact the business's financial outcome. Sales activity, custom output, product knowledge, systems knowledge. And these two items, the knowledge section, that will also help with training and development moving forward. And another thing will help actually identify what is required if they wanted to have a look at their career pathway and look at a different role that's at a higher level. Business processes, teamwork, which is critical for every business with employees, training and development, reward for effort. So some clients of ours do commissions, some do bonuses. They're same, just different.
And it's structured.
Exactly. So just, it's just depending on what the business wants and how they want it structured and how they're going to measure that, and have an individual as well as a team-focused KPI as well. So
yeah, I think it's about setting those expectations. And again, good leadership is around, one of the things that we know, in our businesses, and it's on this next slide, that I can tell you that 83% of our clients come from the referral, right? So again, the best form of lead you'll ever receive is a referral, and I believe you're already 50% there. So if someone says, hey, you should go and work with this company, then we know that we're already 50% there. Yeah. And again, it's the triggers, it's the key words that people say. So then when they ring up, this is what I coach and what I train, but in the sales process, listen to the words that first come out of that particular person's mouth. I want, or I need, I'm thinking about, I'm looking for. Well, okay, I'm going to start building a sales approach with that. And that's just pretty much how it works. And again, sales is, you've got to be genuine. I can't say that enough. You got to wear your heart on your sleeve, and you got to be passionate about what you do, and the sales will just come, and if you like that. Okay, so one of the things I just want to talk about is, what does your company do to attract the ideal client for your business? So again, as much I like to put some responsibility on the marketing side of things as much as the actual the salespeople, right? So again, you give good service, you get referrals. That's pretty much how it works. But our recommendation for strategy for marketing is having that SEO, those Google AdWords, get into that front page. What are you doing to actually enhance your website to make that happen? We have a lot of landing pages on our website, and our socials they're super good, right? So Emma does a great job. She puts stuff out there, people click on it. And one of the things that we do in our business is it creates downloads. So someone will download something off our website, or and that just sparks the interest for a follow-up. So again, I can't push that enough of just how important that is. So you might have some drop-off information, as I talked about before, the free downloads. So you can download stuff off our website. Tips on sales, tips on building strategy, culture, all the above. Training workshops, so I think is really important to make sure that we've got creating those training activities. So, we're actually showcasing to our clients out there that we're training, or you might have some training that's in your business that you're going to do, or it could be some sort of networking event or some sort of event. And again, a referral campaign. So I'm all about, what are we doing to generate business within our own business. And again, this gets the sales team excited. So I know with some of the training that I've gone and done, where the guys have been at, they've been doing like a seminar, or they've been doing out in an exhibition, showcasing their products. All of that just generates what I call activity for the business, which is my next slide, going into sales activity. So again, we focus on those activities, and we focus on the number of leads, and we focus on the follow-ups and the appointments and presentations, and number of orders that are actually generated. And again, when someone rings a gong in a business, in our business, we want the guys to go up and say, well, what did you win? How did you win it? What, tell me a bit about what you've done, because that's all about learning.
Yeah.
And just that working proactively, I think is massive. And, and again, when I'm going into company, I ask, what is the sales game plan? What are we trying to achieve? And we just don't want to sell crap. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that, right? No, we've got a proper strategy in place, and to make it happen. So again, we build the team. We talk about being an order creator, not an order taker. So get in there and have a really good conversation with the client, find out what they want, and try and deliver to what their needs are. And I think that the rest will take care of itself. And for me, it's that self-discipline in creating that engine room and activity. And the big one is having fun and celebrating the wins. So, when we have a good month, we try and celebrate. We went and played 10-pin bowling as a team. Again, I think, or a lunch or a dinner, whatever it may be, sometimes you've got to sit back and, what I say, smell the roses. Smell the roses of what you've done really, really well, and then go and do more of that. Okay, so if you think about it, we're talking about the word sales. Sales is about belief, it's about confidence, and it's about the activity. So if I've got a team of people who believe in what they do, and they're confident, and they get the activity going, whatever your targets are, it'll take care of itself, because we've got the right fundamentals happening in the background. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit more, if you don't mind, of my sales side of things that I drive when I'm out there, doing my sales training. But look at the creating client opportunities. So any business out there has some form of client list or database, or something they can do to follow up. And if you don't have one, then I'd go and create one. And again, we talk about that CRM that works for your business. So, with CRM, client records management, you can do things like, if it's tagged right and set up right, we can promote. We can target industries, vertical markets. We can target, for an example, I do an email campaign to a location. Now, we want to do a hit on Shepparton. We spoke about that this morning. So let's round up all of our clients in Shepparton and do a hit on Shepparton and see if we can create some activity up there. So again, that's all part of what needs to happen. And you can, what the word prospect, which is a thing that a lot of people hate to do, but, to an existing or past customer. So, you create a win-back campaign. Let's go and ring up these people. We used to deal with them, they've dropped off, and that certainly happened with COVID with us, if I can say. So COVID wasn't kind to our business, and couldn't travel, couldn't get out, couldn't go and do what we normally do. But once COVID sort of finished, we would get on the phone, ring up our past clients, and how you going? And Elle, you and I, we had a great time. We went and visited a few, and just got them back on board, re-engaged. So I think it's important. That's that activity. So I think you market to your whole database. I think it's really important. You want to create some sort of call to action. So again, what do you want them to do? Call you, call your company, email you, your company, download something off your website, or register an interest in a webinar or an event. So we do webinars, right? And the reason why we do webinars is it triggers people who are new to us. And there's a few people on this webinar that I don't even recognize the names. And then there's others that gives verification of the work that we actually do, who are our existing customers. So what I say is, if you do nothing, it creates nothing. So get that engine room going. And then again, when we're on the phone, I've got some downloads on this, guys, too. So you can download this off our website. And there you go. There's that download I was telling you about before. But, if we're going to do make a call plan, we're going to start ringing people. What's the reason for my call? Is it a referral? Is it from an inbound sales lead? Is it from an internet lead? Past dealings? What am I trying to achieve? Do I want to make an appointment? Is it Zoom, Teams, face-to-face? You know, am I calling for a presentation or demonstration? I've got some new product or something we want to demonstrate. I can do that. We follow up on, you know, proposal. So again, when we're making phone calls, I always say, what's the reason for the call? What do you want to achieve out of it? And you know, when I'm doing training around getting on the phones and making it happen, one of the things I always say is, you know, to the salespeople, you know, on the 10th call, would you buy off yourself? Are you still motivated? You still got the energy going? Because I think that's what's really, really important. So whenever you're calling someone, you must have, you know, you must know why you're calling, and you've got to know what you want to get out of that appointment. So, or get out of that call. So if I'm making an appointment, I might, look, I'm heading out your way. Can I pop in and see you? You know, you just got to get that high energy and give them a good reason for them to see you. So again, I can't push that enough. So that engagement with your customer, you know, I think, you know, as a team, you can sit down and, you know, this is a great topic for a team meeting, but, you know, how can we better engage with a potential customer? You know, what are some really good engaging questions? You know, tell me a bit about your business. How long have you been in business? What makes this business tick? What do you love about your business? You know, I can go on because it just rolls off my tongue because I've done it for so long. But again, sometimes, you know, we've got to go and ask questions and find out what's working for you in your business, what's not working for your business. So those open-ended questions prevent a yes/no answer, and it's a great way of gathering information to identify if there's opportunities. And then, you know, clients don't like to be sold to, so we need to build that rapport and create that trust and confidence. So that power of attraction that I always talk about, you know, like, you know, when we go and purchase something as consumers, we walk into some place and we're greeted by somebody. It's how we're greeted. What goes through our subconscious mind is we're in the right place. Yeah. So if I'm going into a retail, I'm in the right place. If I'm going out as a person B2B, I'm in the right place, or a business to consumer, I'm in the right place. That's what's got to go through the client's head. And again, you know, ask closing questions, you know, and close the outcome of what you actually want to achieve. I have this thing called ABC. Always be closing an outcome. So, you know, what is the next step of what we're trying to achieve? And that's you taking the customer on a journey. All right. If I talk about some examples of good questioning, that engagement from a B2B point of view, I'm just picking one. I can do B2C and retail. They're all in our downloads, but start by saying, I've done some research on your company, but do you mind if I ask us some questions? And there's some of the leading questions that just rolled off my tongue before. And again, they're good questions that you can see, you know, and even things around timeline. When do you want to achieve this? You know, I think the more we are upfront and honest with our clients by asking them questions and telling them what we think we can do, the better the credibility.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. And just looking at those questions that you've got here as well, Cole, it shows them that, one, you've done the research in the business beforehand, and that you're invested to try and get the outcome that they're wanting, because you're asking all those questions to get to understand what it is that they want. So
yeah, and we can do things like side-by-side comparisons and stuff like that. So and again, I think it's really important. I call it filling up a bucket of information. Find out a heap of information about the client, and then once you do that, you need to sell it back to them. That's just the terminology. So, you know, you need to sell back, you know, your credibility, you know, you and your experience and what you can do for the client, your point of difference as a company, and why other like-minded businesses invest in you and your business that you represent, and, you know, what you can do for the client. I think we've got to be really good at doing that. And I'm massive on showcasing, you know, how great you are with the passion and confidence. We've done this with a client just like you, and again, case studies are the best form of training, if I can say that, and it's the best form of selling as well, because you know, like, Alice and I are very confident. We go into a company and go, we've been down this path, you know, 100 times in the business, and we know what works and we know what doesn't work, and we know the timelines.
Yeah, if a salesperson isn't confident in what they're doing or the product, then it's going to show as well.
Yeah, I think it's massive. Okay, so a couple of things, just in some closing techniques. A soft trial close is used to test the water for the client. You know, is this what you're looking for? You happy with showing you so far? You know, can you see this product fitting into your business? Do you like the sound of that? Does this make sense? Again, you know, we're not doing hard closes. We're asking. It's verification that you're on the right track. You know, alternative closing is asking, what do you prefer? You know, black or white, or can I come and see you Monday or Tuesday? You know, can I book this in, you know, in the morning or afternoon? So, you know, are these tactics? Well, it's just, you know what, we're giving customers options, I think, and that's a really good way of portraying sales. You know, what do you like? I'll give you two options, the option one or option two. You know, the good old retail want to pay cash or card. Well, that doesn't happen these days that much, but people understand, what we're talking about. And again, if we talk about, hard closing, some examples of hard closing, you're asking for the order. Would you like to go ahead? Can I get this organized for you now? So again, that's a confidence thing. People won't ask unless they truly believe it. Can I book this in for delivery? How soon would you like it? Can I prepare the paperwork to get this organized? Are you ready to sign off my proposal? All of that is part of the process. And then if you've got somebody who's really confident, and I go, if I fill up the bucket of information, and I know this is right for the customer, then we become assumptive. Assumptive is where we want the customer to buy because you're 100% convinced this is the right product for them. So let's get it organised for you based on what you told me. I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead. So again, please sign my proposal. We just make it happen. And we talked about the sales manager and the leader before, but the third party close, again, this is the role to me of a sales manager. So if you've got staff that are still learning the ropes, are still trying to work out how it all works, then help them, support them. And I think that's the role of a sales manager. And I just know that, when a team gets involved in helping, to get the outcome, which is right for the client, then I think that's great. It could be a technical person based on, some technical questions, or a finance person, or a service person that helps you. Again, or if you've been referred, it could be a referee that's gone back to them and said, look, I've used them for this, this, and this. You should try that. And we know that from our clients, that, people ring us and say, look, the third party close has already happened before they come to us. You deal with X, Y, Z. They've told me to come and get in contact with you. You can help our business. So I think, that's that sales engine. And I hope I'm really, really helping you out here. But, there's a heap of stuff you can download off our website from some sales checklists based on your industry. But again, I think, this is important. We set the foundations of what we want the team to do, and we give them all the resources and get that, that confidence up, that passion going, and the activity going, and it will take care of itself. Now, I've done a hell of a lot of talking, so I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to give it to Al. So we're going to go to topic 3, which is how to manage expectations through performance management. So what is performance management, Al?
Well, basically, we explain it as managing the staff daily. So a lot of people think it's just leaving reviews until the end of the year and holding on to anything that the employee's done really well or really poorly up until that review. No, do it as it happens. So daily, and then you can have weekly check-ins. The performance management is right from the very start of an employee's cycle. So when you've onboarded them, having a clear understanding of exactly what it is that the employee is going to do. So everyone's on the same page. So that's having really clear and concise job descriptions with the KPIs, as we mentioned before. So that's how it starts, all the way to succession planning at our end, but in the middle, recruitment and onboarding. So how do you select the right talent? And it's not just the right talent, how do you get the right cultural fit for the business as well? So set those expectations and the performance standards as well. When we have clients who do this right from the start, they have a better control of performance managing their team than they do trying to introduce it afterwards, because it is one of those tricky situations where a lot of people don't feel comfortable, but the more you do it right from the very beginning, the more natural it is for both sides of the team. Performance appraisals as well, and a lot of people think that's just going through, as I said, they'll sandbag all of the negatives until that appraisal, but don't do that. Make sure that you've also highlight to the employees where they're going well, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to wait until the appraisal. As I said, make sure that you highlight that as it happens. Disciplinary processes, learning and development, which then goes into succession planning as well. So it's an entire cycle, really. It
is the life cycle, but a lot of people see performance management as a dirty word. I don't like the word performance manager. I'd rather performance coaching, right? Yeah. So, but that's the terminology that it's in the land of HR. And then performance cancelling means, well, they're underperforming, we're going to do something about it. Okay, so we talk about performance reviews or appraisals.
So these are really good, and we always align ours back to the company's mission, vision, purpose, and values. Again, it just reiterates the expectations on that employee and the rest of the employees on the culture of the business, what you stand for, and make sure that everyone has the same values. If you don't have the same values, then you're never, ever going to be able to get onto the same page. We align them back to the position descriptions, which is fabulous, and that actually helps with the engagement. It also identifies areas of achievement and development. We've just finished some of ours, and we've already got identified areas where people would like some training, where they've nominated it compared to what we've nominated as well. It helps to create and communicate a clear understanding of the business's expectations, and it assists in improving the financial customer business process. I'm sorry, I'm going to lose my voice, and teamwork outcomes as well. So, so I've had asthma all night. So it just goes back a couple of slides ago, Colin had separate headings, and we identified those as KPIs. So you can refer the KPIs back to these headings as well, which is always good. And performance reviews and appraisals should be seen as a positive in your company as well. So
that's right, not a negative. And if they're not performing, well, that's a different conversation. That's around doing it. And look, what we see a lot of people do is sugarcoat, what I mean, the conversation. So in the sales game, and this is what the webinar is all about, you're either doing the activity or you're not, right? You're either learning the products or you're not. Like, to me, it's pretty easy on getting that through. You're asking for the deposit up front or you're not. It's one or the other. It's pretty straightforward, right? So again, and that goes back to the reasons why do we do this, and to the benefits of the business.
Yeah, and that goes back to having those conversations on a regular basis, because the more often you have them, the more comfortable you feel in having them as well, and it's less awkward. We continuing on with the position descriptions being linked back to the performance. The staff will have a better understanding of their job role, the criteria, their expectations on the inherent requirements. And that could be anything from standing for a webinar, as we're doing now, or being able to carry up to a certain weight if someone's working in a warehouse, or even being able to drive a manual car if you've got a driver doing deliveries and stuff like that. So, and obviously the sales team would be different. Describing the purpose and duties, responsibilities, and the required qualifications, and that makes it really clear as to who you're looking for if you are to recruit, to replace someone or to add to your headcount. Explains the work responsibilities to the employees, providing a framework for conducting the performance reviews, setting out the KPIs as we've mentioned, and how they are meeting them. And as I said before, they're the measurables that you would refer back to for the employees' review, and how to align them to certain sectors, financial, customer, business processes. And one that a lot of businesses forget is teamwork, but without that, it doesn't work as well. Measuring the employees' performance effectively and reducing liabilities and risks, not just for them, but for the business as well.
I think one of the things we see a lot of is not a lot of importance are put into some sort of position description. And again, we encourage that, if you build the position description with your leaders, you let them have a say, you let the sales team have a say of what the KPI should be, and just get them on the same page. But what we see more and more of today is work cover claims going through, or I've been, what's the word? I've been pushed out of the business, or whatever it may be. And it comes back to, the roles. It comes back to the roles that you need to do. So work cover want to know, they want to see the position description. And how many times do we not see the PD come out during a performance conversation? So I think, I'm massive on, we're massive on, you renew your PDs every 2 years, you review your policies every 2 years, and do it, separately in consent. So that way, it's not too much work. So our performance discussions, Al.
So discussions help to create clear pathways and succession planning. It motivates the staff to improve. If there's someone who's underperforming, you can actually put in what's called a performance improvement plan. We actually like these. These can be used on top of a warning as well. And then it actually is a really good tool for a business to use if the particular employee hasn't made their necessary improvements. Then you've got cause to follow through further as well. So we're really big on performance improvement plans. It helps to recognise and praise for the good work, and everybody likes to have a thank you. It's very quick and easy to do, but a lot of people get so caught up in doing what they're doing that they forget to say, you know what, great job, Cole.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And it's so quick and easy to do. Training and development opportunities, and that helps with the motivation of the team member as well. Capability to grow and staff to take on more ownership. And then that continues with their motivation. Also, teamwork and culture outcomes, huge, aligned with the business goals and objectives. And this is a good one, and this is something that Colin always brings home every Monday, is customer satisfaction and Google reviews as well. And how do you get referrals and repeat business as well? So
that endorsement, I think, is just really, really, really important. And again, like, if I can say, you know, it's a typical thing when we go into a company, we talk about the business acumen, right? And that people don't understand what business acumen is. And, you know, there's many times I've gone to a company and I've said, who pays your wages? And they say, oh, it's the owner. It's not the owner, it's the clients that pay your wages. It's about the work that you do. You know, what you sell, recommend, and implement is the outcome of what you do for the client. I've put this slide in for a reason, Al, because you know, the old sales game that I came out of, it was a one-way street, right? But again, performance reviews of today, you know, the do's and the don'ts. Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, sure. So do make sure that it's a two-way process. Don't walk into the review and just dictate what is and isn't, and then that's it. Make sure that the employee has the opportunity to give their own assessment, their feedback, and listen to what they're saying as well. It's a 360-degree process. It goes right through. And you can have a look at either development or compensation as part of the review. I also like to tell our clients is just because there's a review, it does not necessarily mean the employee is going to get their salary considered for an increase or a bonus as well. So I think it's a really good place to set those expectations as well. The supervisor or the manager with the day-to-day contact, they're the ones who should be conducting the review. Schedule them well in advance, make sure that they're well documented. If you don't have an HRIS, make sure you have a really good template and get the employee to sign off on it as well, and then place that back into their employee file. Highlight the behaviour and the results of the review. Have them numerous times a year. We like to preach every quarter, but each client and each business is obviously different, so it depends on what suits you in your business. The next steps, what are the next steps? Is there coaching? Is there other developmental objectives that you've identified? And is there to be a percentage increase as well?
Honestly, I just add to that, like with sales, right? Like you're always doing it daily, weekly, right? But I think what's important is, you know, you review the financials at the end of every month, right? But quarterly reviews around behaviour, process, systems, training, I think is really important.
Make sure you don't have a one-way conversation, as I said. Top-down process, coaching tools for the development of compensation, have minimal contact. So if you're unaware of the performance, that's not going to be beneficial to anybody. No notice of the review or no review itself, giving vague feedback. And this goes back to being confident in your conversations, which is not something that comes naturally to most people. So that's something that you may need to work on if that's you that struggles with that. Traits, so if someone's personal traits, that's absolutely a no-go zone. Don't do them once a year. Don't have a no follow-up or action plan, and have a high increase for the top performers and minimal notice for the low performer as well.
That's really important. So I'm just mindful of time, but we're nearly there, guys. So just hang in there for a bit. And it's a jam-packed webinar. That's the way we like to do them. But yes,
set the review period. So for example, if you were doing one now, you can do one from January to June, or if it's from April to June, unless you're doing from July last year to June. So make it really clear as to the period that you're reviewing, because the employee can then go back and have a look at what they've done well and where they potentially may need to improve during that period as well. Schedule the review dates. When will they be held and completed by? Select the assessor, which is the person who's going to do the assessment of the employee. Is it the manager or is it an HR representative? The employees should always do a self-assessment of themselves, and they should submit that back to the manager and or the HR a nominated person provide performance review document prior to the discussion. Not everybody likes to do that. We like to recommend that because then it gives both parties the opportunity to be able to have a look at what the other person has said. Make sure it's a face-to-face meeting wherever possible. You may not necessarily be able to do that if you've got someone working remotely. Otherwise, make sure it's face-to-face. After the meeting, confirm the outcomes if there are any and complete the review. Again, if you've got an HRIS system, upload it. Otherwise, make sure you've saved a copy to the employee's folder as well.
Let me take the next couple of slides where you get your breath back. But performance review template, here's an example. We use a product called Enable HR. We're a platinum partner for them. It's a seamless process. And again, like, you know, when we talk to business owners, they go, oh, you know, reviews, they take forever. Well, you can actually, you know, through technology, speed it up. And if anyone would like a demonstration of this system who are not using any form of system, then just contact us on 1300 for advice or email us, and we'll just get one of the team members to give you, you know, a thorough demonstration of you know, how it is and what it can do for you. So I think, you know, what we talk about is, you know, like, you know, just getting yourself into routine. And, you know, from a sales point of view, and to me, it's not just sales, it's the whole business. You know, get yourself into a routine around discussions, performance discussions, you know, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. You know, like, we're very big on selling, you know, reviewing last quarter. You know, what did we do well? What can we do to improve? We shut our business down for 4 hours as a team. We do quarterly reviews with that. So again, you know, the financial year is just, you know, ticked over, and we, you know, we're going to do something special with the team. So again, you know, that is all part of your, if I can say, your culture, your mantra of how you actually want to run the business. Now, do we have any questions out there? So feel free to chuck in some questions into the questions or even to the chat box, because, you know, we're here, and don't be shy. We're here to answer some questions. And while you're doing that, you know, if you want some free information, there's some downloads off our website you can have a look at, you know, and again, I do a lot of sales conferences. So people engage me to go away, do a conference and you know, get the team motivated, get them all pumped to get back out there. If you haven't got any form of strategy in your business, well, I encourage you to do some strategic stuff. You might even want to just do a bit of a benchmark report, a team satisfaction, some sort of survey that's going to find out how they're feeling. Or, you know, you might need to be in a situation where we need to create a bit of change management. We need to improve our business because it can't stay the same. Okay, so no questions. So you're a bit shy, so you can feel free to call us afterwards if you want. But our next webinar is on the 26th of August, and it's the value of being planned and organised as a leader. And I'm going to bring in a specialist who works on this. Her name is Sue Glacier. She's an organisational specialist, and she's going to talk about the importance of, you know, being what's the word?
Eating the frog.
Yeah, on top of your game plan. She talks about eating the frog. So do what you hate first. And that's what sales is all about. This is about us, guys, what we're all about. We love what we do. We're very passionate about what we do. And we're here to help and support. So if you really enjoyed this webinar, love to get some feedback from you, because we live by Google reviews. That's what encourages other people to come through. If you've got any questions or anything you want answered, feel free to contact us, because yeah, we're just a real happy team over here at KBA, and we love it. We love it when we take a business from good to great.
Absolutely.
That concludes our webinar, and just want to say thank you very much. And we're 2 minutes over, Al, so I think we did a good job.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.